there are so many things that can still be addressed and can be explored if it happens to have some kind of a prequel or Aisha story or backstory of the clandestines and the Red Daggers and their relationship. I think so much can be done, and there are amazing show creators out there who must be listening to us.
What's up, everyone? Tania here with PopCulture.com, and I'm honored to welcome award-winning actress and one of the stars of Disney Plus's Ms. Marvel. Mehwish Hayat is here. Mehwish, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Tania, for having me and for interviewing me today.
Of course. Before we get to it, congrats on the success of Ms. Marvel. Everyone is loving the show. What has been your reaction to the fan response, especially toward your character, Aisha?
It's been so flattering, honestly, the way people have shown love towards Aisha and have embraced her and have, connected with her, and how her story resonated with so many people. It's been so heartwarming and flattering altogether.
Yeah. And you are actually one of Pakistan's most beloved leading actresses, and this is your first breakout role in the US. As someone coming in from the outside into a Western industry that has often misrepresented Islam in Pakistan, how important was it for you to take on this character in a series that is like breaking stereotypes?
Tania, I have been, for the last 5 to 6 years, I've been very vocal about how Muslims and Pakistanis have been misrepresented in the West and in Bollywood. And wherever I went, at any global platform, I made sure that I made my voice heard, and I was talking about this issue and starting a dialogue, because it's really unfair on this entire, nation and people to be misunderstood because of the misconceptions that have been created around us. So it was an answer to my prayers, literally, when this happened, because I've longed for this day, literally, to see us being represented in a more balanced and a fair portrayal. And this was it. Miss Marvel was like a godsend, and it literally is representing 2 billion Muslims out there, and we have our first brown Muslim superhero, that so many girls, so many boys and girls, not just Muslims and Pakistanis or South Asians, but any girl can relate to Kamala Khan and her journey and learn so much from her. But also the Desi lifestyle and the household and the way we lead our lives, all of those things that are being shown in the show must be so refreshing for the Western audiences to actually learn about us and see how we're just as normal as anybody else in the world, right?
Yeah, like we're actually like best friends with everybody. Who would have thought? Like, we are like your neighbors. It's so crazy. As someone, as someone who grew up in the Canadian town that Iman Vellani is from, and being Muslim and Pakistani heritage, it is refreshing to see a series like this, especially one that helps set the narrative on a more corrective path. But there's always more work to be done. So with Ms. Marvel setting the precedent, what more do you think Western movies and TV can do today to help set that arc on a corrective path?
I think this has been a great start, and I hope this is just first of many that people should see how it has worked, how it has the ratings and the way everyone has responded, the fan base. I mean, it's just a proof that people do want to know about our culture, about our people, because they had no idea about the partition, about Karachi, about our food, about our music. So there's so much that needs to be explored, and I think just one show is not enough. Yeah. So there should be more movies, more shows that need to be made to actually understand and represent our culture, which is so vibrant, so colorful, so full of life. Yeah. I mean, it's just something. It's opening up a Pandora box to the people to actually learn so much about us, and in a very positive way. So there's so many stories that need to be told, so much that needs to be shown to the world, and I think this is a great start, and it will. People should actually pick up and really make more shows and films about us.
Yeah, for sure. And, that's the thing too. Like, I feel like a lot of people, Western audiences specifically, when they think of Pakistan, they're thinking of it's the same as Bollywood. Like there's the movies, there's the actors, there's the music, but it's a very different, distinctive lifestyle and culture and heritage. And it's nothing, there's not a lot, they're not that similar. They're very different.
Yeah.
So it's nice to Miss Marvel has kind of, divided that up to show that there is a distinct quality and different, lifestyle and life to the Pakistani people. But that's amazing. Yeah. And,
also, Tania, like people got to learn about Eid, our festivals, you know, and it's such a fun, it's a beautiful festival. And I think this is for the first time being shown the way it was. And I have so many people asking people in the Western audiences that, so we didn't know this is a festival that exists and this is what happened, So I think it's about celebrating our culture, and we have our, like you said, very significant and distinct identity, and that needs to be brought to the fore.
Yeah, and it was nice that there was such an authenticity to all of that, showing the Eid culture, the family, the going to mosque and being with your family. Like it was so lovely to see that. So I just,
Tania, the credit goes to the show creators, Sana Mana, to the directors, to Shameen, and so many other directors that were there, and also the team. The production, I mean, their attention to detail. I mean, when I was watching it as a viewer, I was so amazed and so impressed and so happy. My heart filled with pride and warmth to see it done with such authenticity. And I think the entire team needs to be given the credit for that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm hoping next year for the Emmys and the Golden Globes, we get to see Miss Marvel in that, because it would be lovely. Amazing.
I really hope so. Yeah.
I hope so too. I mean, let's talk about Aisha, because she's a fierce character. I loved her so much. How much of the character did you know about from the comic books? She has appeared in a few issues. Like, what piqued your interest about her?
So there was not much about Aisha, to be honest, in the comic book, but I liked how in the show, the way it was written, there was a lot of mystery around it. And in each episode, you would hear about her. You would hear something either negative or positive, but there was a lot of mystery and curiosity around her. Yeah. And when there was this whole build up, and when you actually see her in the third episode, you're like, oh, that is Aisha. Okay, cool. And, the bangle and everything. But after that, you see her as this warrior in the first, when you see her first. But then you see her vulnerabilities, her strength, and as well as her, I would say, still being a clandestine, she had this human side to her, or this need to want to have a family. And once she did, she decided to stay there, make a home on Earth. And I think so much that's still unanswered, and still there's a lot of mystery around her character. But the fact that her family, her daughter, meant so much to her, and she even sacrificed her life in order to protect them and get them to safety. I think it was so wholesome, her character, and playing her. I think there were so many layers, and as an artist, it was a challenge, but at the same time, it was such a treat to be able to, to play her, and to, I hope so, to have done justice to her character.
Yeah. And the season finale was such a beautiful episode, one that left, fans very emotional, including myself and my parents, because we all have a partition story. And, it left me with chills. Like, it was something that we have never really seen on TV or in movies. And, I'm wondering, what was the most powerful moment for you when filming those scenes in a time that, Western audiences don't know much about?
Oh my God, Tania, when I was on set, I mean, we were obviously, like you said, we've all heard stories around it. My great-grandparents have obviously migrated. They migrated back then. But I could only imagine how it would be. But when I was on the set with those train stations and people, although I knew it was all supporting cars dressed up, but the way it was so moving for me. And I was moved to tears a couple of times. Even talking about it right now is like, but it was so moving just to think that so many people actually went through it. Even my ancestors went through it. The pain, the devastation, the fact that so much was left behind, and it was so moving. And also the way it was done was so authentic.
Yeah,
I had to literally pinch myself to say, okay, it's a scene, okay, but this is what had gone down back then, and not long ago, only 75 years ago. So, it literally gave me chills, and I just sat there, and I think all of us, like all the cast members that were there, including Nimra and Samina Appa, and all of us were like, "Wow, this is so painful to even shoot,"
Yeah.
And so glad that yes, it is a very important period in our history, a very important episode in our history in South Asians, but it was such a great lesson that the Western audiences learned, and so much that they learned about that, that these people actually went through this horrific episode and this kind of time in their lives where so much happened, so much happened, and how it was so painful. So I think it was never done before, but it was, when it was done, I think it was a brave move and a very important topic that was discussed. I would have never expected this to be in a mainstream Hollywood show, but the way people have taken it, and people have there's so much now curiosity around it. People want to read about it, get to know more about it, want to watch shows about it. I mean, it's just insane, and Marvel really needs to be applauded to have done this, actually.
Definitely. Like, even talking about it now, like, I'm getting chills, because it is such an important part of our history that no one knows about. And when we talk about it to people, even like my friends, they're like, I had no idea, because it wasn't in the history books. And of course, like, no one's learning about it on this side of the world, which is kind of ridiculous, because there's a lot that's happening, and we're all sort of like a diverse society. We should know about each other. But that's the thing too. I know you can't share too much about your character's fate, but there are theories that Aisha might be alive. So I'm wondering if she was, and she had the chance to return, what would you like to see for her, especially if we get the opportunity to learn more about the Clandestines?
I think, yes. First of all, I don't know about it, obviously, that if there is going to be a prequel or something.
Yeah.
I hope there is. But like, there were a lot of questions that were left unanswered. Like, what were we doing? Why were we not being able to go back home? Why were we stuck in that place where we were as clandestines? And like, Waleed knows Aisha. When he meets Kamala, he says, "Oh, your great grandmother's story is of a legend." I mean, how do they know each other? What happened? What really exactly? How did they come in contact? And then also the fact that when Aisha says that this bangle is not going to work, it's not going to work. So how did she know that it's not going to work? So, and the fact that she decided to stay there with the family, but also she did not probably want the bangle to be, because obviously it was going to destroy the whole world.
Yeah.
So there are so many things that can still be addressed and can be explored if it happens to have some kind of a prequel or Aisha's story or backstory of the clandestines and the Red Daggers and their relationship. I think so much can be done, and there are amazing show creators out there who must be listening to us.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of fans they love to see that too. And I know that's something that we hear a lot from the MCU actors. So I'm wondering, how hard was it to keep secrets about your role and to give up spoilers?
Tania, you have no idea. I shot in March 2020. Yeah, actually 2021 was when we, I think, started shooting in March. And I had to be, obviously, because of NDAs involved, I couldn't tell. And it was happening at the height of pandemic, where everyone was stuck at their homes. And I was in Bangkok shooting. So imagine not being able to take photos and post. And so I disappeared. For those 2 months, I was not posting anything at all.
Oh, wow.
Even if I would post something, it'll be a selfie which will not show where I am. And it was the most difficult part, keeping a secret. But it actually proved something to me, that I can really keep a secret. I was very good at it.
And I'm sure you'll be keeping more secrets when something else happens. So
you never know.
You never know. I love that you shared a scene with Aman, which was so wonderful to see. You guys had that one very special moment. What was it like working with her? Because those were very emotional scenes.
Oh my God, she is such a natural in front of the camera, and she brings so much energy to the screen, and on screen and off screen both. I mean, when she's around, everything is just so fun and light, and I cannot imagine anybody else playing Kamala Khan other than her.
Yeah.
And when we were shooting, I was like, I couldn't believe that she's working for the first time. I mean, she's a professional actor when the camera turns on, and she brings this authenticity to the character of Kamala Khan. I mean, she's just wonderful. I had a great time with her on screen and off screen.
Yeah. And, I have to note Sharmeen Obad Chinoy, she's an acclaimed Pakistani director. She's amazing. And she brought such an authenticity to the series. What was it like working with her on those 2 episodes that she helmed?
So I had worked with her on an animation series that she did back in 4 or 5 years ago, and I was a voiceover artist with that, and it was a wonderful experience working with her. But being on a Marvel set with her and seeing her in control, and the fact that she knows obviously this part of the world very well, and she could really bring that kind of authenticity to the events and to even the relationships between these 4 generations, the way it just all connects.
Yeah.
And the fact that she is more of someone who likes to collaborate. She likes to keep everyone, take everyone together, and I feel so comfortable when she's on the set, and she makes us feel so comfortable, and she makes it so easy for us to understand our characters. She would just be, casually tell us that, okay, Mehwish, this is what happened. So imagine, what will you be feeling? And then she would just bring this emotion out of me so easily. And I would just, on the set, I would just look for her. Where is Sharmeen? She's like this mother figure.
Yeah.
And to me, she's a superwoman. She's a real superwoman. The way she actually understands the story, and then she was so brilliant at projecting all those relationship dynamic and the partition and everything just tied together. She was the perfect choice to have been directing those 2 episodes. I don't think anybody else could have done justice other than Sharmeen.
And you are such a superwoman too in this show. And I know that you're so talented, even in Pakistani movies, and you're so sincere with your heart. And I know you've been wanting to break into Hollywood for a while prior to this. So like, how humbling and amazing has it been to be part of the MCU, especially for your first role outside Pakistan?
Oh my God, it is. So Tanya, I have been working on a project which I'm producing as well for the last 4 years. And I always thought that would be my first Hollywood project.
Yeah.
And then this came along without me knowing. I mean, I always said that why do we look at Bollywood, or why are we so short-sighted when it comes to spreading our wings? We need to look beyond our borders, but also look at Hollywood. Why can't we be working in Hollywood or Irani cinema or, OTT platforms that are there? And it just happened when I was offered the role. I was like, wow. And not just any project, but the one that hits home, something that's so original and real to us, something that is, a double treat as an artist, to be representing my culture, my people. And for me and all the other Pakistani actors that were involved in the show as actors, I think being given a global platform was such a humbling experience, such an overwhelming experience. And at the same time, it will be opening doors for other artists back home, as well as for the Western audience to see that there is talent. There's a big talent pool in Pakistan, and that, these Pakistani actors exist, and gives them the confidence to cast more Pakistani actors in future projects. I think it's a win-win situation for all of us.
It's a great situation. And, I know you have so many nuanced layers to all your characters. And I'm just wondering, is there a role out there that you would love to play, whether it's like in Pakistan or if it's even in Hollywood films? Like, is there an actor or actress you'd love to act alongside too?
Okay, good. I would love to work with Meryl Streep.
Let's manifest it. Let's put it out there.
Yeah, let's put it out there.
Let's put it out there.
Yeah. And there is one role that I've been, obviously, it's being written, but to play Benazir Bhutto, the first Muslim prime minister in Pakistan. I think she was she's an icon, and I think playing her would be an honor.
Yeah.
So that's for now, but there are so many stories that so many characters that I want to play.
Yeah.
And I would love to do some action-based roles as well, So keeping my fingers crossed. I'm, as an artist, open to all kinds of roles that challenge me as an artist. And
Of course. And I'm so excited for you. I'm so happy you're part of this amazing show, and there's so much more of you to come. Mehwish, thank you so much for your time today. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you guys. For more with Mehwish and all things Disney Plus, keep it locked to popculture.com for the latest.